Marketing can make anything sound amazing until the reality doesn't match. Today, we're exploring the traps of overblown promises and how to find real value in a crowded market. Here's a good hook. Never let the truth get in the way of good marketing.
I hate that so much. I hate that so much. As someone that's wildly skeptical and highly analytical, especially when it comes to the things that I invest my money in, whether it's products, services, mentors, I think it's really important in 2024 that people have to figure out and identify what is actually meaningful for you to spend your money on, because everyone else is trying to sell you something, not like it's a bad thing, because everyone has something that you might actually benefit from. But the way they frame it, the way they package it can definitely be manipulative. And I think it's really important for consumers to be increasingly aware of what that looks like and to make sure you're advocating for the things that you actually need that will lend themselves, value to your life. So I think that we're pretty excited for today's episode when it comes to bullshit marketing in the digital space.
Bullshit marketing in the digital space. This right now, I hope when the editor gets a hold of this video, he puts a picture of a bull like bull beep shit just like on here, because I feel like that's just going to be fun for today. It's going to be fun for today. There's going to be this is going to be one of those episodes. We woke up today, chose violence, had some caffeine, and like, hey, it's go time.
And just to be clear, and as a disclaimer, we don't, the things that we share in this episode are meant to make light of the learning mistakes that people have made in the past, not about the individuals themselves directly, because we've all done some dumb stuff. And this is really just an opportunity for us to highlight some of the dumb things that, we've seen in our own experiences, the things that we're seeing in the space today, as well as just some of the growth curve that we know is really important for people to have in their character arc when it comes to being mature business owners that actually stand on business of, this is what I do and this is how I do it. This is not the flashy thing that's intended to gain me cash and a repurposing or repackaging. Because let's be honest, we all get mad as hell when we get re-gifted something, but that's what it seems like the majority of services and products are these days. So, again, not pointed.
It's not pointed. And for context, like, the goal of this is also for you to learn for your marketing some of the things that you're doing and some of the ways that you might be manipulating it that is maybe good or bad, right? Because I opened up with that line of never let the truth get in the way of good marketing. And that was something that was said to us. That said, there is some validity to that statement. And the validity comes around the idea and the story that you build behind the marketing. But I don't think you should take it as, let me show up and just blatantly lie to put this thing out there. Because the reality is, if the thing you're selling, if the thing that you want people to do, take action on, buy, whatever it is what you say it is, there's probably an appropriate story that already exists that might just need to be pumped up a smidge, right? Like, we just need to go a little bit beyond where it is in order to help maybe drive that point home to whoever that ideal customer persona might be. Yeah. But if you're going to blatantly make up a story that literally didn't happen, that's where we're crossing lines that we shouldn't be crossing.
Yeah, and there's increasingly business sanctions and legal ramifications for that stuff these days. And there's definitely an art to self-promotion and highlighting the things that you're capable of and not downplaying or, denigrating the things that you feel like, oh, well, that's not really important. And for the audience, like PhD, 60 plus certifications later, I still have issues sometimes. And I feel kind of gross when I'm like, well, I have a PhD, or like I'm working on my doctorate and, I have this many years of coaching experience. Like, it just doesn't feel great to have to do that, although it is appropriate, especially when you get in front of audiences that don't know you and they wonder why they should trust you. So there is that fine line of how much you do have to just be straight about the things that you have done and really high five your achievements. And for those of you that may be not having a lot of achievements inside a new industry, that's completely fine. That's why you have to get out there and you have to deliver the services. And that's why experience is going to trump education, at least in the initial phases of, you have to get out there and you have to figure out where your gaps are so that way you can build a better story.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that, and it's you have to flex occasionally in order to make sure people know who you are, what you've done, and why you're the person to help them, especially if they don't know, right? There's obviously people out there that have no idea who we are. So the first time we meet them, we kind of got to roll in with the, hey, here's who we are. But it's also not, it shouldn't come across in a weird way, and it needs to be
Hmm.
appropriate. Like I always go back to the story. I had only known you for like 3 months, and it was one of the first presentations in front of a room that I saw you give, and they're like, hey guys, here's what we're going to learn today. All the pieces, cool. But first, hey, I'm Andrew. Here's everything you need to know about me. And on a slide, like it was a 40, a 40-foot wall, like 67 really small things that you've
It's
accomplished
like
in terms of
size 2 font.
certifications. And I just like I really appreciated it. I laughed, and I don't remember any one of them what they said, but it said to me that Andrew is funny, he knows how to capture attention, and he's also qualified to teach me about this thing. And that was an important piece, but there wasn't a here I am and here's my, I'm this awesome type person. It was more of here's my credentials and whatnot from there. So,
Yeah.
but from a marketing perspective, the first thing that I'm going to kind of throw into the pot here is we can oftentimes see things like get 10 clients in 10 days. Period. End of story. No additional context. And that's one of those pieces where, 10 clients in 10 days to a coach who wants more clients sounds absolutely amazing. Well, here's the thing. I can get you 10 clients in 10 days. Easy. I can get you 10 clients in 1 day. No problem. Just offer your services for free. 10 clients done, locked and loaded. Are you accomplishing the goal? Are you accomplishing what you want? Right? Like that becomes the question. 10 clients, 10 days. Charge them $50 a month. You will get 10 clients.
Hmm.
Easy. Just go find the people who want the thing and yeah, 10 clients, $50. I'm going to work with you 1 hour a day for $50 a month. You will find 10 clients. But we need to understand what the implications of these offers are, and 10 clients in 10 days, well, is it going to be at the rate that you're looking for? Yes or no? And those are questions that you want to be able to ask. But in the same token, like operationally, can you support 10 clients coming onto your business in 10 days? Historically, if you've only onboarded 3 or 4 clients per month or one per week, can you all of a sudden increase that by 2.5 times without causing struggle? Because you're going to hire this coach or mentor, they're going to shove 10 clients down your throat. Even more so, they're going to shove how many leads down your throat to have
Hmm.
them. And you're going to have how many sales calls to get these 10 clients. Can you handle all of those things? 10 clients in 10 days is not innately bad, but understanding all of those pieces. So what are you going to get paid for those 10 clients? Can you handle it? Can you handle the sales call? Can you handle the fulfillment, coaching, onboarding? Can you handle all those things? And is that person going to help you with that stuff? Because if they're not, you should be careful, because 10 clients in 10 days can sink you and all of a sudden cause you to hate every single thing that you're doing. Same token, if you have no clients, you need 10 and you have nothing to do all day long, and you're not charging anybody anything right now, and you want to get your first 10 clients at whatever they're willing to pay just to get kind of experience going through, then that's probably going to be an amazing thing for you to get a chance to do. But we need to understand some context. And those are some of the questions that you want to be asking those companies. Is this going to truly help me from a profitability revenue standpoint, but operationally in sales and acquisition and onboarding, can I handle those things? And how are you going to support me there as well? Because that's often overlooked, because the sexy thing is get 10 clients. Oh, well, people pay me $600 a month. That's like $6,000 in 10. That's amazing. I'm guaranteeing you that that is not what's going to happen,
Hmm.
simply put. So
Yeah.
that's the first
When
one I'm going to throw
I
out
think
you.
before we before we get too far into, the landmines that exist out there, I mean, maybe you can give the audiences that aren't savvy to marketing, because a lot of, people in our industry that are health coaches, personal trainers, nutrition coaches, whether inline, inline, online or in person, don't necessarily have these skill sets. They think that their training skill set is the only thing that they're going to need. So why is this even a relevant conversation for them to engage in? And how can they, I guess supposedly not go down that track? So yeah, question number one, why should people care about marketing and what really is it?
So, marketing is the thing that effectively makes you stand out in a crowded environment of people who are solving a similar problem or the same problem that you're looking to solve, right? Your messaging is what matters. And moving over the 10 clients in 10 days that you might purchase as a coach to what you're going to say to people, come lose 10 pounds in 10 days with me, right? Like that's a similar message and we want to understand the implications of that because on the other side of it, the likelihood of developing people who are unhappy with your services and sinking and tanking your reputation are quite high. So when we think of that or why that matters, the marketing is the first introduction of somebody to you and your services and the solutions you provide. It's what sets expectations out of the gate. When I hear somebody tell me something, when you hear somebody tell you something online, in the line, wherever you're at. But like when we think about that on a very high level, we initially set the expectation for what somebody, or we're setting somebody's expectations for what that next interaction, hopefully a sales opportunity, sales call is going to be. And if they show up thinking, "Hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days," and like there's no work involved, I don't have to change my eating, I actually don't have to sleep, I don't have to drink any water, in fact I have to drink no water and everything else in between, and that's not how that conversation goes, immediately there's a disjointedness that happens. So it reduces your ability to actually close the deal on that sales opportunity. The next thing that happens, let's say you work through that sales call, but maybe we didn't really address those pieces, that they start going through the process. And let's say, oh, in order to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, you have to have cabbage soup 4 times a day, every day. I think there was a cabbage soup diet thing at some point in time, right? Um, but like I hate cabbage. I don't want to cook the thing. And that's like I'm hungry and gassy and all the stuff. Like I hate this. That's not what I want to do. Or in your case, you have to go into other Facebook groups and post and say, hey, and answer questions and hope people are going to come jump on your question, follow your page, and go to your group, right? Like there's things that people are willing or not willing to do. But if you don't have that conversation through that marketing, the sales experience, you're now not meeting their expectations or hopefully exceeding their expectations. And yet again, we have to overcome something. Or on the other side of things, when we hope to get that retention kind of ascension play or even a referral out of them, well, hey, generally speaking, they're unhappy because they're doing things they don't like. Well, if they're unhappy and doing things they don't like, are they likely to refer other people that they know, like, and trust and know, like, and trust them to do something that they didn't like to do? No, no, they're not. It's going to hurt your reputation and they're not going to resign with you. So when we think about the marketing as a whole and why it's important, yes, we need to word what we're doing eloquently and we need to make sure that it's something that's attractive to people and it relates to people and the problems that they have. But you're setting expectations up for not only that sales process, but what that retention offer might look like, what those referrals might look like, and the ultimate longevity or lifetime value of the client is really going to be at risk if we don't deliver the things that they're expecting us to deliver based upon the thing that stood out. And that's honestly like a big thing to think about here. So yeah, let me send this cool offer out and I'm going to get money today. Sure, you will get money today, but you're hurting the future opportunity by doing it that way.
For those of you that are listening and you're a little bit lost, there are episodes out there that we've already created about crafting your offer and going down the intention route. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel and go peruse there, because you'll definitely find a treasure trove that we just can't cover in this small period of time. So
This is one of the big topics we actually cover in the blueprint that we put on, right? We have that 4-part experience, and one of the big things is the marketing messaging, and it's a 4-hour long course. So you guys aren't going to listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, for 4 hours. Plus, without context and the guides and the templates and all those things, it makes it way harder.
mhm.
Um, but But that's why this stuff is important. And that's where a lot of companies get away with murder. But in the long run, they end up killing their reputation. So we
Hmm.
want to avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty damaging when you consider the fact that if you are a new coach, because the majority of coaches are worried about what kind of programs to write or how to deliver services at first, the ones that skip that concern because the gurus in the space are telling them they can have X amount of success, X amount of dollars, people then fixate on that as the outcome that should be the desirable thing versus learning the skills and focusing on actually how to be a good tactician and how to employ various programs, how to conduct various assessments, and realistically, the things that should be the foundational element to draw attention to, which effectively to me, marketing is the ability to draw attention to the things that you have that can add or provide value in exchange for value from the prospective client. And that means you have to be able to do the thing before you start drawing attention to it. And that's where, exactly to your point, 10 clients in 10 days without having a solid system on how to navigate that becomes a very tenuous situation that messes you up as the coach if you're not equipped for that. And it also messes up your reputation and it makes it harder for you to struggle, or excuse me, it makes it harder for you to gain clients. And you also feel like you don't want to draw attention to it because you kind of feel embarrassed, you feel ashamed because you're not delivering on the things that you think you are able to or that you're saying that you are able to. So, with all that to say, keep in mind the gurus out there, they all have their situation, they have the circumstances. Some of them were successful eventually, but it might have been timing in the market. There might have been a number of different reasons why they came and stumbled across that success, not because it was intentional, not because it was iterative, not because it was sustainable. And so, think it's a good opportunity for us to segue into the R3 framework, which is the tactical implementation of like, well, how do you actually go about having people want to pay attention to you in a way that's ethical and ultimately giving you the listeners and health professionals some tools on how to navigate that particular kind of a tricky line there. So Steve, you want to tell us about the R3?
Yeah, so R3 itself is the simple idea of how do we increase lifetime value of a client, right? From a business perspective. From a delivery kind of emotional perspective, it's providing results or getting a client results, whatever it is that they desire. Then it's about getting them retained. So, how do they buy the second thing, the next thing in line? And then getting referrals. So, how do we actually generate referrals and increase our total client load based off of that initial thing? That is one of the fundamental cornerstone frameworks that we work through because that, without that, your business in coaching, I don't care what true industry you're in, but your business in coaching is just going to be amplified in terms of how hard it is. And we want to make it easy, right? But it's one of those pieces where, let's take, for example, here's what I want to do. And I'm going to go put an offer out there. And my offer is going to be I'm going to give you a discount. And this is the absolute last time I give you a discount. Last time that we're offering a discount. These discounts are going away forever, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, cool. Well, hey, on one hand, if that's absolutely accurate, you should put that out there. If it is the last time this thing will be at that price, be for free, be whatever, let people know because you want them to have the chance. It is your duty to tell them that so they can take advantage of the thing. But if you're using it as a scarcity tactic, well, what happens? Hey, Andrew, this is the last time I'm offering this thing at $1,000. Next time it's going to be 1,200. I'm increasing it by 20%. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you all this free stuff when you sign up now. Cool. Bonus stack, all great things. Well, let's say in 6 months you go down the road of, well, you know what? I'm hosting a webinar. I'm going to have people on here. I'm going to give them all the original stuff that I signed that they got for free, like back 6 months ago, bonus stack. And I'm going to give you $200 off too today. So it's really $1,000, not 1,200, and all the extra shit. Well, cool. That person, if they were not on the very first call or opportunity or email, that feels good to them. Same situation. Okay, great. First interaction, they got the discount, they're getting the extra stuff, value bundle there. Amazing. But now, let's say they're on there for a second time. You have now just shown them that you are not true to your word, and the chances of you running a discount again are great because you already did that to them once. And all right, whatever. I don't have to buy now. This will be here again. They're always running a deal. It's always a deal. I'll get the deal. But then the other side of it is, let's say you actually bought the thing at the discount because the urgency told you to do it. You now have eroded away the trust because you are blatantly a liar. You are a liar if you do that again. I bought, and now all of a sudden, what the heck? Worse, even worse, let's say I missed it. I acknowledge I missed it, and I spent the money on the full price thing at 1,200 bucks. I watched your replay. I read your email. I saw your post on whatever. So I went and bought the thing. Damn, you know what? I'm too late. It expired on January 31st and today's February 3rd. And when I sent an email to the company, they said, no, it expired, but you should still get it. Okay, cool. So now all of a sudden I spent 1,200 bucks and I didn't get the bonuses and I spent $200 more than everybody else. But now you just offered it with bonuses and at a discount. Now, not only did you erode away trust, but I'm frustrated because I didn't get those things. You're going to have to handle the customer service side of things. And again, now we move from that transitional point of marketing the sales. They bought the thing. And am I going to increase the likelihood or decrease the likelihood that chances are the result will still be the same? R3, right? Result the same because if they do whatever they're supposed to do through the thing. But if I increased or decreased the likelihood that they're going to be retained and buy the next thing because I eroded away trust, and are they going to refer somebody to me? And if somebody refers somebody and says, hey, you should go buy their thing, but wait until they're running a discount because they always run a discount. I mean, I don't know about that, but I just want somebody to say, hey, you should go buy the thing from that company because it's amazing. And it actually did what it said it was going to do. That's how I want my referrals to be. And as a business, that's how you should want your referrals to be. So when we think about R3, we want to continue to build trust. We don't want to erode it away by lying and just blatantly not telling the truth and going back on what we said we were not going to go back on, and making sure that we're doing and following through with so people can know, like, and trust us and continue building that relationship.
Yeah. Well, and it's a helpful paradigm for people that are trying to figure out, well, how do I navigate the idea of building a business? And for those of you that don't know what LTV stands for, it's lifetime value. It's effectively how much money people spend while they're your client or involved in your ecosystem. It consists of things like the services. If they buy coaching and you cost $250 a month, they stay with you for 4 months, that person's lifetime value would be $1,000. We'll get into some of those metrics in a future episode, but I think it's really important that the same thing that we talk about, good coaching is good business. Well, I mean, the first thing that you need to do as a coach is you need to build a meaningful relationship so that way you have time to generate results. And that relationship can be spoiled within the first time that you meet somebody, depending upon your vibe, depending upon how you show up. And if you're too busy in your own head wondering if you can even deliver what this person's looking for, then chances are that consultation is going to be kind of awkward and weird. And, you're going to have to provide a lot of potential competency perspective for that person to trust you as an individual to justify your price point, or you don't seem like you're going to be worth the price that you're asking. So what do you have to do in order to net more clients? You have to drop your price. And so that's the cost of what happens if you don't have a great, back end of how you deliver those things, which, do you need a payment processor and a training platform and everything else for your first 3 clients? Probably not. You can take Venmo. There's a lot of people that are so worried about having the perfect thing. But as you become more sophisticated, your processes have to evolve. And this is the one thing that company A really struggled to do, is that they kept going back to the well and they kept doing the same thing repeatedly, the same strategy, and they just changed the packaging, which was such a shame because innovation was never really allowed to thrive. We would run something for 2 weeks, maybe a week, and then it would just get shut down because it wasn't generating, whether it was leads or sales or whatever. And we never had the opportunity to go through and identify what the meaningful things were. And we were constantly throwing the baby out with the bathwater, which then creates a different cultural issue at companies that have a certain number of employees. But again, some of these things aren't really relevant for you if you're just getting up off the ground. The results, retain, and refer, the R3 method, is going to be something that's relevant for you. And right now, if you're getting off and you're just in your first 6 to 12 months, You're worried more about retaining your client by building that relationship so that we can get the result. And then you can then become a trusted person inside of that individual's ecosystem and thus start to generate referrals. Because I promise you, people are looking for the thing that you're offering. They just don't trust anyone either because they've been burned or they don't know any better, which is why you have to get out there and promote yourself on your social channels, in your local businesses, face to face. There's any number of ways to go do that. And if you want to know how, again, just shoot us a DM in our Instagram, official Beyond the Pump. We're happy to turn that stuff into content for you guys because we don't know what you don't know. And every time you reach out, after you subscribe and you share our stuff, like the more it circulates, the more we become aware of what you need to be supported as an industry and as professionals that are trying to raise the standard across the board. So, yeah, all that to say, I mean, any closing remarks as we brush up against the 30-minute mark here, Steve?
Yeah, I think when it comes to our value stacking and things like that, from a marketing perspective, we always go down this road of how do I make it appear worth so much more than what people are getting? And how many times have we met or ran into people that have spent 5, 10, $35,000 on something? And the rule of thumb from a marketing perspective is how do you make it appear or perceive value be 10 times more what they're actually being charged? Fantastic. And I think that that's a great rule. But as somebody who likes to deliver a high quality service or likes to actually follow through, if the value of something you're charging is worth 10 times more, so let's say you're going to charge $1,000 and you say it's worth 10,000, cool. How do you think you actually over deliver on the thing? Well, charge 1,000 and get them to get the $10,000 outcome. And in business, right? Like, hey, you guys come and you're going to buy a course from us and you want the thing. We're going to charge you $1,000 and just a random number. If I get you $10,000 on the other side of that, how much more likely are you to buy the next thing in the journey that I've built? Because I already proved it once. I already got you a 10 times result once. If I come to you, hey, Andrew, hey, coach, I want to lose 10 pounds so I can look like a stud in my suit. That's what I really, really want. Okay, cool. Amazing. Here's the cost. Awesome. Well, if I lose 9 pounds, did I get the goal? Maybe I look good. Who knows? I gained some muscle, lost some fat. I don't know. And every coach is going to sit here and say, well, your body fat and the comp and it fits better and all the pieces and whatever. Sure. But when I show up and I talk about this thing, and if that's the thing that's in my mind and I'm talking about that thing, you're better off getting him to lose 12 pounds because you overachieved the goal. I wanted 10, he got me 12, and I'm ethically, reasonably the appropriate way, right? Like, I hope I don't need to say that, but I'll say it just because. Um, but I lost 12 pounds. Well, you know what? Andrew's a stud. He got me to do what I wanted to do and then some. He knows what's up. Hey, Andrew, what's the next step in my journey? I build that trust. I build that. I know Andrew's going to do what he says he's going to do. Man, he's smart. Let me just listen to Andrew on what I need next. And Andrew's now going to go, well, cool. We're going to take a diet break. We're going to do this. We're going to add one of these things in. And I'm going to crush you in the gym. Like, all right, let's go. Game on, buddy. And then magically, you're going to eat some more food and go work out hard. And you're going to somehow lose more weight. Who knows? But Andrew knows the game, right? And that's the thing. You want them to go, wow, they over delivered on the initial promise. They must be able to over deliver on the next promise. And how do I make that happen? So when you think about this marketing messaging, make sure you set yourself up in a way that not only can you deliver it, but you can over deliver on it. If you tell somebody I can make you lose 100 pounds, well, shit, if they weigh 105 pounds, that's not going to work. Like, it's just not. So we need to think about those things so that way we don't hurt our ability in the future to retain, generate referrals because of that relationship we need.
Hmm.
So just all that to say, like, when you're thinking about these things, that initial impression, you only have one time at a first impression. Your marketing messaging is that first impression, and that is going to carry through for quite some time. Once they buy from you the second time, they probably forgot what you promised initially, but now it's based upon some more recent promise that you guys have spoken about. And that's one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people are not thinking through. It's this, I'm going to get you 10 clients in 10 days. I'm going to turn your business into a 6-figure a month business. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to make you lose. I'm going to get you to gain. Maybe you won't. And then what happens? Maybe you will and it makes sense. And then what happens? And that's what you need to be thinking about when you're putting this stuff out there.
Yeah. I think it's a great parable when you relate it back to the boy who cried wolf. The first time everyone believed the person. The second time they're like, the third time, like, fuck you. The fourth time, bad shit happens, right? And so with that being the understanding that effectively is anytime you tell anyone anything, whether it's one to many, like in the case of social media, you have a platform. Imagine having a room full of 100 people to hear what you have to say. That's pretty cool. But you're responsible for leaving people a certain way. And that means that if you promise them an outcome, then you need to be able to deliver it more often than not. Just so we're clear, it won't be 100% all the time. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get there. And in fact, it seems to be about 1 out of every 3 coaches actually delivers exactly what the client was looking for. And they tend to be more in the physique community, because people in the weight loss community are like, I'm gonna lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds. And they lose 3 and they're like, I'm good. There's just certain types of consumer behaviors that you also want to be aware of. But that only happens, and that awareness only arrives when you have enough experience, because you've been out there and you've seen people work through problems enough that you can start to get ahead of it. But as of right now, just put yourself out there, tell them what you're going through, tell them what you're doing, and don't be shy about the cool things that you're learning about. If you're going through any kind of certification, if you don't have one, we have a lot of those experiences here. In fact, one of our next experiences is going to be on December 7th. We have a business development workshop, and then we also have a fitness and psychology certification type of experience weekend seminar as well, that we're really looking forward to having our inaugural experience for our members in the community that's out there. So if you want any more information on either of those things, just reach out to us. Again, our Instagram is always going to be the easiest way to make sure that we see your stuff. It's not buried in a wall of things on our Facebook group or in an email list. So we appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate you helping us raise the standard. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this with people that could definitely benefit from knowing how to actually go about ethically marketing in a way that helps them grow their business without hurting the rest of the industry from some weird expectations that get set.
Can I request some comments? Comment below and
Comments.
throw our way anytime you've bought something and on the other side it wasn't followed through with. Make a comment. You don't have to tag the company, name the company or anything like that. Just what did you buy and what about it did you buy? Like, not literally, I bought a course, but I bought the outcome of,
Mm-hmm.
and this thing didn't deliver. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Throw in there, because as you alluded to, Andrew, 1 out of 3 coaches can consistently provide a result a majority of time, right? There's a level, and we're not going to break that down today, of the client themselves being able to articulate, the coach being able to understand and re-articulate, and then the client actually getting and doing the work that's required to get there. So this isn't a coach's ability to provide the result only. The client has to do some work and they have to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's a partnership to achieve it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you bought something and didn't follow through, why not? Because a lot of times I'd be curious the experience that maybe was tied in, or how they were trying to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was a misalignment, or maybe you didn't understand it. Maybe the templates and things like that were not, just maybe you didn't have any. Like, there's reasons sometimes, and then other times, like, hey, you just didn't do the work because you thought you would and you didn't. Type mentality too. So I'd be curious in some of the comments on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, use this as a board to support the brands that are delivering on the things that they can trust, and, maybe a potential indication in helping other people see that there are things that definitely exist out there that maybe they want to avoid. But until next time, thanks for joining us at Beyond the Pump, where we talk about the business of fitness and nutrition coaching.